Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a viral phenomenon from the channel Space Unfiltered that dives into some seriously explosive, unverified documents. I'm so pumped you're here, because we're looking at a topic that sits right at the crossroads of government secrecy, hardcore internet sleuthing, and, well, one of the biggest questions humanity has ever asked itself. We're going to break down a recent analysis of an alleged top-secret MJ-12 document that's been making the rounds and sparking massive debate online. Now look, we aren't here to tell you what to believe. Instead, we're going to clearly and systematically walk through exactly what this document actually says, where it supposedly comes from, and the wild theories surrounding its very existence. Let's get into it. So the source material kicks things off with a super provocative question that instantly pulls us into this wild narrative of government secrecy and extraterrestrial lore. Think about it. In traditional pop culture, or even your basic conspiracy theories, the debate usually stops at a simple binary, right? Like, do they exist or don't they? But the analysis we're looking at today takes a massive leap way past that. It asks us to consider a scenario where the veil of secrecy isn't just covering up, say, a single crashed saucer or one lone visitor. No, it's suggesting a complex, multi-layered reality involving a whole variety of visitors. It completely shifts the conversation from simple existence to a literal taxonomy of life beyond our planet. And here is the crucial point. This document doesn't just vaguely hint at visitors. It explicitly claims that Earth has been visited by 4 distinct extraterrestrial types. Not 1, not 2, but 4. This specific number is exactly what makes this particular ultra-top secret document so heavily scrutinized and intensely debated right now. By putting a hard number on it, the document attempts to establish a concrete framework for extraterrestrial contact. It implies that whoever allegedly authored this file wasn't just, guessing in the dark. They were purportedly observing, categorizing, and meticulously cataloging. According to the source analysis, the document actually attempts to classify these 4 species by mapping out exactly what makes them different. I mean, if you're going to claim there are 4 species, you got to differentiate them, right? So the text outlines distinct characteristics, meaning the physical descriptions that set them apart. Then it moves into unique behaviors, like how do they interact with our environment or with us. And finally, it details their differing possible intentions. And honestly, this suggests a kind of chilling possibility. It means not all visitors share the same goals. Some might just be passive observers, maybe collecting atmospheric data, while others might have active, hidden agendas for intervening in human affairs. Which brings us to the origins of all this. Let's look at the Majestic 12 claim and the Black Vault. The whole foundation of this discussion is an unverified file labeled the Ultra Top Secret MITD document. Internet sleuths can actually find this hosted on the Black Vault. Now, as our source material highlights, the Black Vault is this massive, well-known digital archive dedicated entirely to declassified government records and UFO-related documents. But, and this is super important to understand, just because a document is hosted on an archive like the Black Vault, that absolutely doesn't automatically mean it's an authentic, verified government secret. It simply means it's part of the historical record of documents being passed around, intensely debated, and analyzed by the public. But for sure, this specific MITD document is the absolute epicenter of the controversy we're exploring today. To really get the context of this document, the source anchors it to a pretty clear historical timeline. Pretty much everything in this specific realm of UFO lore traces its roots back to 1947 with the Roswell incident. That was really the ultimate catalyst for modern extraterrestrial conspiracy theories. From there, as things moved into the heavy paranoia of the Cold War era, we started seeing these historical references to Majestic 12 or MJ-12 pop up. This was allegedly a super-secret committee of scientists, military leaders, and government officials formed specifically to manage the UFO phenomenon. And that finally brings us to the modern day, where these alleged historical documents have been digitized, categorized, and uploaded to archives like the Black Vault for the entire world, and channels like Space Unfiltered to debate and obsess over. So, how do we make sense of this? Let's analyze the 3 main theories. When we're looking at these claims, we really have to view the full spectrum of the debate through 3 primary lenses. First up, we have the genuine leak theory. This is the premise that the document is exactly what it claims to be, a real, highly classified government file that somehow slipped through the cracks, proving actual contact with 4 different species. Then we pivot to the Cold War disinformation theory. And honestly, this is a fascinating historical angle. We know that during the Cold War, intelligence agencies were frequently creating fabricated documents designed to confuse foreign adversaries. So could this entire elaborate taxonomy of aliens just be a massive counterintelligence smokescreen meant to distract Soviet spies? Definitely possible. Finally, we have the UFO mythology theory. This suggests the document is simply a really well-crafted hoax, essentially a piece of modern folklore built upon decades of existing internet rumors, Roswell lore, and pop culture. Seeing them side by side like this is a great balanced way to look at the evidence, whether you're a believer, a historian, or a total skeptic. Now, the source makes a really great point here. Exploring this topic isn't necessarily just about proving alien life. It's actually about examining why these specific patterns and conspiracy narratives keep persisting in our culture. Like, why do we keep coming back to MJ12? Why do documents like the ultra top secret MITD constantly go viral and rack up all these views and comments? Well, it's because human beings are just deeply drawn to mysteries, right? We love patterns, and we love the idea that there's some kind of hidden architecture to the world around us. So analyzing this document gives us an incredible lens into how information, whether it's totally true, completely fabricated, or just a modern myth, spreads like wildfire and takes root in the public consciousness. Which perfectly tees up our final section, the human element in the appeal of UFO mythology. The creators over at Space Unfiltered include a really crucial disclaimer in their source material, encouraging viewers to evaluate these claims impartially. They say, this is not about blind belief. It's about examining the claims. And honestly, that is a fantastic anchor for anyone navigating the murky waters of internet archives and unverified documents. It reminds us that intellectual curiosity shouldn't require you to just abandon your skepticism. You can absolutely find a topic fascinating, and you can analyze all the granular details of an alleged top-secret document without automatically accepting it as absolute truth. It's all about the rigorous examination of the claims themselves. To maintain that complete objectivity, the source sets some strict educational parameters that we need to keep in mind. Everything we've discussed today regarding these 4 alien species and the MJ12 group is presented strictly for educational and informational purposes. The source is super transparent about the fact that these documents are widely debated and absolutely not verified as authentic by any official body. Nobody is making the claim that this explainer somehow proves extraterrestrial contact once and for all. Instead, the ultimate goal, the real takeaway from analyzing sources like this, is to encourage independent, critical thinking. It challenges you to actually look at the data, understand the historical context, weigh the different theories, and draw your own conclusions based on reason rather than just a knee-jerk reaction. So, we're going to end with the very same compelling question the source asks, leaving it entirely up to you to evaluate the evidence and decide what's really hiding inside these archives. After walking through the history of the Black Vault, MJ12, and all the possible theories, where do you stand? Is this whole thing pure fiction? Just a modern myth cooked up for the internet? Is it clever Cold War disinformation designed to hide earthly military secrets? Or is it something real that we just simply don't fully understand yet? It's a wildly fascinating thought experiment for sure. I encourage you to keep questioning, keep analyzing, and keep thinking critically. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.